do ls proc. So you have a lot of things here. If I were to open, for example, this file, you probably wouldn't understand the contents of it. Doesn't matter, completely relevant for you now. But let me just show you. IO mem. No, oh yeah. Proc IO mem. It's just a bit of extra, I guess. Come on, why aren't you doing it? Ah, okay, cat. So this is input output memory, and this is something that the kernel has written out to this file. There it can be seen and usually used for troubleshooting purposes, complex troubleshooting, pretty much the sort of problems where you literally dig your head into the system and you don't dig it out for the next week, and then you basically don't go to sleep, you crash, your brain crashes, and eventually it reboots and everything is fine, hopefully. Anyway, let's stick back to the subject. So proc, and we're gonna have to go ahead and type in partitions, press enter, and here I can see that I have partition SDA1, SDA2, this is SDA, this is the disk, and SR0 is actually my drive bay, well, not my drive bay, my CD bay. So that's where I would put a CD into a computer, the physical place where I would put a CD into the computer. Anyway, can go ahead and dump the rest. Now at this point of time, I would like you all to go ahead and create an additional disk in VirtualBox for us to partition. This is fairly easy to do. You just go over to Machine, Settings, Storage, and you won't be able to do this while the system is up and running, so just keep that in mind. It says, the first one, it says add CD DVD device. The second one, it says add hard disk. Now it's supposed to have a VDI extension. You can name it whatever you like, it doesn't really matter, whatever you wish you can name it. Probably you should name it something that is unique to you, or that's fun and interesting, because you're gonna have to look at that label for a while, and yeah, you should have it. It should be interesting to an extent. Anyway, I am going to do this in the next tutorial where I continue with the partitioning section, but I would like you to do this before we get into the next tutorial. If you fail, it's perfectly okay. Just follow through the next tutorial and I will show you exactly how to do it. This is 2-3 seconds, that's all, but the machine needs to be powered off. Anyway, I would like to bid you all farewell and a ton of luck until next tutorial. Welcome back, everybody. So just go ahead and right click on Red Hat, go into Settings again, Storage. Here it says Controller SATA. So go ahead and click on the blue icon where it says add hard disk. Do not click on the one where it says add CD DVD device, just add a hard disk. And now it says create new disk or choose an existing disk. Since we don't have an existing one, we are going to go ahead and say create new. Just choose a VDI one, that's not a big deal. Dynamically allocated is perfectly fine, and we are going to, I personally am going to allot 20 gigs if I can manage to be precise. Okay, 2055 is fine by me, but you can allot as much space as you want. If you don't have a lot of space on your hard drive that remaining, it doesn't really matter. The system is not dependent on this one like it was on the first one that we created when we created this virtual machine. So you can assign as much space as you want. You can actually assign it in megabytes if you want, whatever. doesn't really matter as long as you have it there and as long as it has at least some size, which we can split into smaller portions. Now the name is new virtual disk. I will name this disk Udemy, and I will go ahead and click on create. There we go. So it says Udemy VDI. That's 20 gigs, approximately to 20 gigs, and I will say OK. I will leave that place. Oh, by the way, if you would like to delete a hard drive or something of a kind, the options are fairly simple. You just click on it, and then you have an option down here. It says remove the attachment highlighting in the stored tree. Once you do that, you will delete it. If you have an SSD drive, you can also select a solid state drive, so there is an option. If you only have like solid state drives within your laptop or your desktop or whatever, you can select it there as well if you would like. Anyway, I will now go ahead and power on the machine. So the boot process will take a fairly short amount of time, but it still does require us to wait just a little bit. No big deal. Have my bar prompting me here on the left side, just the way I've tuned it. When I hit it with the mouse, it just kind of pops into existence. One way of looking at it anyway. So it is booting. I swear I should have used one of the songs from, you know, when you're calling somebody on the phone, or you're usually calling a service or something of a kind. You have that tune that sings while you wait. I should get me one of those and just play them while the system is booting. I guess it could be interesting. I wonder what the feedback on that would be, but hey, oh well. Okay then, we are finally here. I'm just gonna go ahead and log in. Oh, by the way, the boot procedure will be faster on a physical machine. Just keep that in mind always. There were 4 failed logins. Amazing. Okay, come on, sing along. Booting, blackness, brownness. Oh, well, somebody might say that I'm colorblind, but I assure you I'm not. Okay then, let's go into applications, pop up the terminal. There we go. Let's become root, shall we, so we don't have any problems with permissions. Excellent, there we go. Now if I type in cat proc partitions, I can see that there is another drive here. It says SDB. Let's have a look with DevDisk. But it doesn't have any partitions here. There is no SDB 1, 2, 3 something. Let's go ahead and take a look with fdisk-l SDB. Let's make it a little bit clearer. Okay, so there is indeed a disk called dev SDB, and okay, that's its unit. Right. But can you see the important detail here? Perhaps I should show you the SDA as well. So SDB, this is the SDB part, and this is the SDA part. You can see how SDA has a partition table down below, while on the other hand SDB doesn't actually have anything of a kind. So let us be kind and grant SDB some sort of a table. Let's create it for it, and let's make it happy. Go ahead and clear the screen, type in fdisk, and if I just type in the name of my drive here, so dev SDB. Excellent. So now we are in the fdisk menu, and it says welcome to fdisk. One thing to keep in mind here is that whatever you do until you decide to write the changes, here it says right here at the top, until you decide to actually write them.